This is the first in a series called Going Beyond Testing. We're going to take a look at NJ Labs, and we're going to be guided through this by their CEO, Sandra Lee. Sandra, you talk about science a lot. You talk about how we need to use science in all the industries that you work in, generic pharma, nutraceuticals, supplements, and others. And we'll be taking a look at that in our series. What do you mean by you have to look at science, you have to believe in science?
So I believe that science is everywhere. It's in our clothes, it's in the food, it's in the supplements that we take, it's in anything medical related. And all of these things that's out here for us to use, they should be tested appropriately, depending on what they're supposed to do, right? You don't want to put things into your body that hasn't been appropriately tested. You're trusting these manufacturers, the people who own formulas and products, to do their due diligence, right? And you don't want to take anything that isn't supposed to do anything else except what you want. For example, pain management, right? When you take Tylenol, you want it to make sure that it eases some of your pain. So there's science behind all of that. Everything we touch, everything that we breathe in, everything that we use for recreational purposes too.
NJ Labs is 85 years old. That's amazing. You've been here since
2013.
2013.
I myself am not 85. If I knew how to do that, I'd be super rich. But the company's been around for a very long time, and I joined in 2013. I've been here since.
And if you were 85, you'd look terrific.
Thank you.
You have an interesting history here. Let's talk about that. Tell us about the history of NJ Labs, how it started, and where it is today.
It started as a dairy lab, right? Everyone enjoys eating ice cream. Everyone likes to drink milk with their cereal, but it needed to be tested properly. And the family that owned the company, they realized there's a need for this. They had this little milk cart that picks up samples, not milk cart, but like this truck that samples are picked up from different companies around New Jersey, milk and ice cream products, and they would test for bacteria. When you eat this ice cream, for example, right, you want to make sure that it feels good afterwards, not just while it's going down. So the company started out small, testing for dairy products. Then it moved to environmental. But environmental is a whole nother beast with licensing. So the company dropped the licensing part for that and moved into supplements and pharmaceutical. And not too long ago, about 6 years ago, we tested cannabis. We started testing for cannabis, marijuana, and now hemp.
And we're going to be taking a look at each of these individual areas during our series. Let's talk about Sandra's background. I mean, you grew up, where did you grow up? And you went to college?
Well, I was born in Korea, South Korea for people who always ask North Korea or South Korea, South Korea. And I came here when I was 6, and I grew up in Michigan. I am an alum from University of Michigan, go Blue. And I specifically requested you to wear blue because that's my alum, and it looks really good on you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I graduated
that.
from University of Michigan in 2004, and then I moved to New Jersey for a couple of years, went back to Michigan. So I've only lived in 2 states, New Jersey and Michigan. And I've been there since I was very young. My family's out there, and they're kind of all over the place at this point, but now I feel like New Jersey's become my home.
And of course, you have 3 beautiful kids as well. We want to mention them. Let's talk about your background in science before you got here, because you had an interesting thing. I mean, starting in high school, I'm in a teaser right now, folks. You didn't do so well in chemistry.
No, I made my teacher's life a living hell. I was one of those students that destroyed other people's concentration. I threw books on the ground. I threw tantrums because I did not understand it. I hated chemistry, and it was a guest teacher. He never came back after that. But I had to overcome such a hurdle because every time somebody asked me, hey, what did you major in college? I say chemistry. Like, oh, like, why and how? And I'm like, It's wonderful once you get past that difficulty. I hated it, but I learned to love it in college.
Chemistry was always difficult for me in high school, and then I gave it up in college. But chemistry, like most science, changes almost day to day, doesn't it?
Yes.
You really have to keep up with it.
Yes. I don't want to say I know everything about chemistry or the science or even what I do in my industry. I'm still learning. Science is progressive. Right? There's many things that are set in stone, right? Like there's elements that's set in stone. But it's constantly learning, adapting, and changing as because we discover new things every year. There's so many brilliant people out there doing research and they discover so many things. And based on their knowledge and their expertise, we get to learn from it. And so it's constantly growing. I feel like it's never stagnant. It's always changing, but for the better.
Did you not go for an advanced degree?
I have a bachelor's in science, so I took the higher level chemistry degree at University of Michigan. Even my professors were like, "Don't you have a life? Like, why are you here in the lab at midnight?" But then I did my master's to teach science, especially chemistry, because my love for it has grown over the years. And I did that while I had 3 kids, supporting my family. And so it was difficult, but I got it done.
Right now, with NJ Labs, as a CEO, as you're working with your clients, with your teaching background, can you help your clients understand the need for testing?
Yes, absolutely. So because my nature is to share as much information as I know, I don't hold back. I really spend a lot of time developing that relationship with the clients. It's not about, hey, you should do this is how much it costs. I like explaining why you should do it. And if they come to me and they want to try this, I explain to them why that may not work. And it's a conversation, it's a partnership between us and the other companies. It's not just me telling them, hey, send me this so I can make some money off of you, right? Because if they succeed and they have the knowledge, as I'm kind of their default consultant, if they succeed, then we succeed as well.
You have 2 words that I find absolutely enlightening. You have to understand this. The first one is transparency. Tell me about transparency at NJ Labs.
A lot of laboratories, a lot of companies in the medical industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of it is confidential, right? It's really hard to share patented formulas or how we do certain techniques, especially if we've worked on it for many, many years, developing and having finesse in it, right? And becoming expert. But we also believe that a company should not hide things. They should be sharing information because we grow together in this industry. Yes, companies, big pharma companies make money off of different patented formulas, but at the end, we're all consumers, right? We're all taking the same type of products at one point or another in our lives. If it's not us, it's our family and friends. So transparency is huge because we want to show that we're doing this right, and if we messed up, here's how we corrected it. That develops trust.
That also shows the company has the next word, which is integrity.
Right. Integrity is huge. It's the reason why FDA stepped in quite a bit, especially in companies like us, is because there's many people who can fudge data. When we have an FDA auditor come in, they check our computer and then they say, click on this, click on, you know what they're checking for? A delete function. You don't want to manipulate the data. So they really do check for things like that. And integrity is, you should be able to follow everything from time to time, from beginning to the end, and you want to make sure nothing there has been deleted, it's accurate, it's precise, and if it's not, the development work is there and it's traceable.
I am so enjoying working with you and learning about NJ Labs. If you want some information on NJ Labs, take a look at their website. The website is up there. They will be glad to talk to you about your products and what you might need in testing. I'm Mark Allen. Thanks for watching. We'll be back.